I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's...
Bed 1 and bed 2.
We're at the hotel.
Yep.
Had an impromptu road trip, and it was so impromptu that we didn't plan for it. See, the last time we went out on a trip, we had that shit planned out. Mm-hmm. This one wasn't, so we're doing the recording...
Right here.
Right here! That's dedication, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
2 a day. That's the breaks. Okay, this is Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper. There was a guy who kept pushing for the song over and over and over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one dude who never got, I think he quit. I think he pretty much quit the channel. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not even part of the channel.
He's not even going to get to hear it. But this popped into my head because I heard a 2-second clip of it at the end of an episode of Orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you even know that it was this?
Because he was saying "Don't fear the Reaper," and then I remembered that guy, so I put it in my phone. And I said to myself, the next time we do it, we're gonna do "Don't Fear the Reaper." So shout out to the big homie, whoever he is.
Yep. It's finally your day.
It's finally your day.
We did an impromptu vacation, and here we are doing a song.
It wasn't a vacation. Good Lord. All right, well, Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult. Let's do it.
And go. was interesting.
I really like that song. I like that
too.
style. I like that 70s.
What is that? Oh, that's a 70s? Okay.
It's got to be 70s. Very, very
I like
chill.
it too. Yeah, calming.
But I like that vocal style. Just
Did it remind
very
you of Ghost
smooth.
at all?
Not at all. Well, no, I can't say that. Because Ghost kind of has that smooth, like, whatever, but...
And some of the stuff was like, wasn't he saying like basically 40,000 people die a day, like we're gonna join them anyway, basically, so...
Well, I think, like, the person who's speaking is actually a ghost.
Oh, and then she finally joins him.
And she joins him,
Oh, yeah, actually that makes sense.
So he's like...
That's not gonna work, babe, I need my water.
He's like, don't fear the Reaper. Don't be afraid of dying, because everybody dies.
Yeah.
So, like...
Was he the one that was in the room at the end when she died and the candles went out and stuff?
Yeah.
He was there?
Yeah, well, in the third verse, it switches from, like, the first person to third person. Come on, baby. What does he say?
I thought it was interesting because...
Yeah. Here, now they're gone, came the last night, said it was clear she couldn't go on. The door was open, the window appeared, the candles then disappeared, the curtains flew, then he appeared. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, he's talking to her in the first person, talking to somebody, but then in the third one, he's talking by himself. The narrator speaking. Mm-hmm. So it's this is an interesting song, man. This feels like one of those like historically good songs, or like a cult classic.
Yeah.
But they're called Blue Oyster Cult. I can't describe that vocal style, but I love it a lot.
It's relaxing. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just chill. Everybody's chill.
Yeah, I felt relaxed. I was like, oh.
We also feel blurry, I guess.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Hey guys.
How long has it been like that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the camera. The camera got the effect of the Blue Oyster Cult. Well, it's got the. Is it the manual thing? Is that why that's
no? It's
square is on the?
You mean you want me to switch it to manual?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
It's usually when you start moving around.
It's probably trying to figure out what the hell to do with this room. All right, back to action.
It reminded me of, like, I understood that what the song was about, and I liked the part when it said, like, how did it word it where it talked about when she died?
It says
her lover was in the corner of the room.
Right there. It doesn't say she died explicitly.
No, it wasn't this. It was right.
Well, corner of the room, it says.
Where's the one where it talks about the candle?
Then he appeared, right there. The candles blew and then disappeared. The curtains flew and then he appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying, don't be afraid, come on, baby. And she had no fear and she ran to him. Then they started to fly. They looked backward and said goodbye. She had become like they are. She had taken his hand. So he was already dead, I think.
I'm not saying that she didn't die. I'm saying it didn't explicitly mention that she died.
Well, I think that we all deduce that from what was spoken.
Right. You don't have to deduce explicit statements, Your Grace.
Anyway, it reminded me of, my mom used to tell me this story about, like, this missionary. But I'm not sure if it was an actual story or if it was, like, something that she extrapolated from, like, another story and said, hey, like, this is what it'll be like. But for some reason, my mom used to always, like, or at least I remember her telling me stories of Christian martyrs and stuff as I was growing up. And, like, it always made it so that way I wasn't, like, as afraid. Like, I always thought, like, wow, what an honor to be able to, like, die for what you really believe in. And she was telling me about this woman that was like, dying. They were killing her. I don't know if she was burning at the stake or something like that. And, like, she looked up into the crowd, like, because she started getting fearful, and she looked up into the crowd, and then she saw, like, Jesus walking through the crowd, and, like, she just was, like, following him, like, through the crowd. And it always makes me emotional. And then he, like, came and she, like, calmed, you know, and, like, she didn't even, like, feel, like, what was going on. There's other stories, like Perpetua was the same thing. Like, she got thrown to the wild beasts and they, you know, tore her up. And then when they threw her back with her friends, she was like, when are they going to throw us to the wild beasts? And they're like, what are you talking about? You're already out there. Look at you. And then she saw her clothes. Like, there's some times where I think where God, like, protects somebody. So he doesn't always do that, But anyway, so that woman, like, so that scene kind of reminded me of that. I understand in the story it was about two lovers, because we're talking about Romeo and Juliet and the different lovers throughout time and stuff like that. But there's a sense in which, like, Christ is the one that you love, and so he shows up and takes her by the hand and they go fly together. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as a that's what people don't understand about Christianity. Like, they think it's like this religion. They go, oh, you have to bring a religion into everything. But it's really like, it's a walk with a person who you kind of have this sort of obsession with. And so, like, you see them in everything.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. It's like we have to work not to see him there.
Right.
Shout out to Lilo.
Yeah. I had a dream about Lilo last night.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway.
Was she finally happy?
No, she asked for prayer. I met her in my dream.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, she asked for prayer. She was like, "Are you praying for my?" Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna announce it. But anyway.
And she didn't look like Ben Webb.
No.
A big koala bear.
No. She actually looked like what I would picture Becky to look like. Becky Levitt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Strange.
But I don't even know what Becky looks like, but...
Shout out to all our villagers.
We love you guys. So what were we saying right
Shout out to Amber Skies.
Yeah.
You hating ass people.
Yeah, how dare you guys?
The fuck is wrong with jealous ass people?
Be so mean in our comment section when we like something.
I know. Mean ass people.
Can't people have something?
Mean spirited ass people. You make a song.
Yeah, and let us review that shit.
Yeah.
What were you saying right before we got into that? What about Lilo?
Oh, just Jesus and you know, because Lilo always gets mad at me because she's like, you're always forcing your religion into interpretations and stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
No, you remember I had that friend that came over and like, this was when Sayla was really little and we were watching, what's that very famous one? Tinkerbell. It was the Tinkerbell things. And then, help me, honey. Stop letting me sit in shame. No, like, remember it was like at the beginning of Tinkerbell, and then it was saying like basically like how like all creation like had started or something like that, like the fairies did it or something like that. And like I wanted to say, well, you know, Sayla, this is just pretend, like for just like the thought of it, but we know that God is the one that created everything and stuff like that. But I held back at saying it because I didn't want these people to think I was throwing my religion in their face, but I was sitting there like not doing what I would normally do because I was trying not to be like throwing it in their face.
Right.
Remember when I talked to you about it and you're like, no, like you have to just live your life.
To be who you are.
Be who you are. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, everybody's all out of the closet with who they are.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I so worried about making it look like I'm throwing it in someone's face? I know definitively I'm not. I'm just trying to live my life. So that kind of helped me after that. It kind of helped me formulate some.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely like, as a Christian, like it's like, don't fear death. And there is one line here that I thought was classically brilliant. Now I can't find it. Oh, there it is right there. Seasons don't fear the rebirth, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. Mm-hmm. That was brilliant.
Yeah, and then it said we should be like them, right?
Yeah, because like spring isn't afraid that summer is going to come and take him over.
Right.
Spring knows he's got his time.
Right.
And then summer's going to have his time.
Yep.
Then fall's going to have his time, favorite time of the year. And then winter's going to have, you know, her time.
Yep.
You know? Because it smells like a woman.
We've moved on, the kids and I, we finished The Shack, which is a really good book. I encourage people to read it. It's sad, but good. Anyway, but now we're on to The Timekeeper, and there's like an interesting part in it where like the one character doesn't really know how like the sun rises and the moon sets, like because this is way back, and so he believes that they battle, that the moon god and the sun god battle, and then the moon god loses. And so then the sun comes up, and then they battle all day, and then finally the sun god loses, so the moon comes up. But the other guy is starting to figure out time and realizes that a certain amount of water goes through this thing that he figured out. Then he starts realizing that it's a time thing, not like a battle and a gods thing. But I don't know why I just said that. Oh, because we were talking about the seasons and stuff.
Yeah.
We were saying, you know, because not thinking like they're not battling. The seasons are not battling, like they all have their time.
But they don't have this anxiety either about, oh my God, the fall's gonna come take me over.
How do you know they don't? Have you spoken to the seasons?
I thought it was a brilliant line.
Yeah, I like that too.
You know, Ecclesiastes, for everything there is a season.
Yep, I thought of Ecclesiastes.
Time to be born, a time to die, you know, a time to kill.
Yep.
You know. So that was that was really, really interesting. I was like, huh, that's a good way to look at life. Of course, like the fear of death has a ton of utility.
Yep.
You know, if people walked around.
I thought of that too. That you're supposed to think about death at some points. You're not supposed to not ever think about it.
Well, yeah, the wisdom literature says it's better to go to a house of mourning than a house of feasting.
Right.
But the fear of death has a lot of practical utility around it too, which is, you know, just on a real base practical level, we'd do a terrible job of propagating the species if we didn't have a fear of death.
What do you mean?
Well, a lot, like we went climbing in these caves and whatever, and there's a lot of precautions that were taken, even subliminally that were taken because of fear of injury or fear of death.
Oh.
So if nobody had fear of death, you know, the highways would be a lot bloodier, right?
No, it's true. Yeah.
Wars would increase exponentially because a lot of the reasons that wars don't happen is because of, you know, mutual assured destruction. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean,
you'd probably get sick more. Everybody would leave their food out on the counter.
I wouldn't be here. There's a lot of shit that, you know, my friends and I or people that, you know, organizations that you're in that, you know, things don't escalate because people are afraid of mutually dying. You know, so it's like the fear of death has a ton of utility, you know. But then but then at the same time, it's actually extremely destructive because people have all this anxiety around death. Right. And so, you know, obviously our religion is very helpful in that sense because it gives you, it tries to extricate you or separate you from the fear of death while at the same time making sure you don't go jump off a building or whatever. Like you can hold both of those ideas simultaneously because it's like, okay, like if I die, I'm going to rise from the dead, like Jesus did, because he's a historical person who died and, you know, he rose from the dead. So, okay, I don't have fear of death, but at the same time, it's like, well, there's a mission, there's a purpose on you on the earth, so you have to do things, so you can't just willy-nilly go die. Right. You know, you gotta, you know, whatever. And so, like, I mean, early church, like that, it got to the point where they were like, okay, you can't go and, like, poke the Romans in the eye to get yourself martyred.
Oh, my word, I can't even believe people would get to that point.
You can't do, well, it just became so commonplace to see your friends get killed. And it's such a high honor to get to die that, you know. So fear of death carries a ton of utility, but, you know, I think Christianity does a pretty good job of handling death, I think. Because if you think about, like, the symbology of Christianity, it's a cross, which is an instrument of death. Yep. So Christianity is sort of a religion that kind of, like, looks the reaper in the face, per se, because the two greatest events in Christian history have to do with death and then overcoming death. Right. Well, and so it's a religion geared specifically toward dealing with that ultimate question.
And Paul said something like, basically like, it was good, like, if he could stay with them, but even better if he would go to be with Christ.
Yeah, I desire to depart and be with Christ.
Yeah, so, like, and he understands that the only way for him to get with Christ is that he has to first die. Right. So
Paul didn't think he was going to get raptured.
What's that word? Symbiotic relationship with it? Like, I mean, it in a sense it separates you from here, but it brings you closer to there, and it also brings you closer, you know, I would say physically with Christ.
Well, Paul said, like, if I stay here, there's a lot of purposeful work for me to do. Yeah. So again, like, it's why don't, you know, if you believe in life after death, then why don't you jump off a bridge? Because there's a purpose for me to be here. Yeah. So that's why I'm not going to jump off it. But as it relates to a relationship, though, that's very interesting, because in the song, he keeps saying, "Baby, I'm your man." Yeah. And like you're like trying to figure out where the hell this dude is going, and then at the end you realize this guy was a fucking ghost the entire time, you know. And then it's like, was this woman hallucinating and all this shit? And
or was she not even hearing it? Was he just saying that to her? Was she sick, like, from the beginning of the song? Like, maybe she found out she had this terminal illness, and then he's telling her, you know, like, so. And then all of a sudden it's the day where it's over.
No, I don't think she had a terminal illness.
Why?
The last night of sadness, it was clear she couldn't go on. She was just sad that he was gone.
She died of a broken heart?
Well, I think she jumped out of a window.
What?
Or she jumped out of some...
No.
Well,
what?
Because it says fly. He kept talking about flying.
Yeah, I
And
think
he's
that
a
she
ghost.
died, and then
And
their
she
spirits. You never saw the spirits? They go out the window together, up. You think she died? She jumped out the window?
The door was open, the wind appeared, the candles blew and then disappeared, the curtains flew, then he appeared.
Yeah.
Then she ran to him. Then she started to fly. They looked backward and said goodbye. I don't. Where are you getting terminal illness? I don't even see any terminal illness.
She couldn't go
here.
on.
She's sad that he's dead.
I just don't know if she killed herself. You really think that?
I'm pretty certain because he's trying to coax her into coming with him.
So he's trying to coax her to killing herself.
Well, I mean,
Don't be afraid of the Reaper.
in this universe, that's what brings them together. Because look, he says,
And he brings up Romeo and Juliet.
brings up Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
How did they get to be together?
What?
Romeo,
Yeah.
Juliet drank the thingy, whatever,
Yeah.
and Romeo thought she was dead when she really wasn't. Then he kills himself. Then
Yep.
she wakes up and spoiler, if you haven't read
They
that
both
story,
die.
that was originally supposed to be a comedy. Did I ever tell you that?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like the stupidity of young love, and then everybody like,
Oh my gosh!
because it's like, dude, if you'd have just waited 2 minutes, you'd have seen that she was alive the whole time. Like he falls madly in love with her after one meeting, and the whole thing was just like look how stupid these kids are.
Weren't they from feuding families?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Montagues and Capulets and blah blah blah. But it was like it wasn't supposed to be like this big.
Oh my gosh!
But everybody looked at it. Oh my God, Shakespeare's a genius. He's like, Shaw. Absolutely.
Doesn't mean we thought it was supposed to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were together in eternity. 40,000 men and women every day. So I think he was constantly trying to coax her to kill herself.
This is kind of a weird question, but like, it seemed like there would be a lot more deaths in a day than 40,000. But do you think 40,000 is the number of suicides?
No,
per day?
no. I mean, it's 1976, so the population isn't 8 billion like it is now. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I don't know.
And I mean, they're artists. I mean, nobody's
That's a
saying that
good
they
word
have
for
to
the
be
worst.
like. No, I mean, a lot of people romanticize death like that.
I just thought that she was dying.
No, I don't think she was dying. No, I don't think she was dying. I think she jumped off of some high place.
Oh my gosh! And then they looked back and say goodbye. Wow.
It's interesting because it doesn't talk about like where they go. All it talks about is them being together. Which again goes to my point of hell, which is if a human being is like your highest joy and delight or whatever, or your highest goal, and you don't care about God, you just care about that human being, then if God were to say, okay, go for it.
Please don't ever say that to me, God.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Oh gosh.
I just think that's, but again, I think that's hell. I think a relationship.
Oh, I totally.
I think
agree
a
with you.
relationship for all eternity without God, I think is hell. I think that's probably as close to hell as you can get.
Yep. Yep.
You know, because there's a lot of utility in Christianity when it comes to relationships. So, like for example, if your partner pisses you off or does something bad to you, you can say, well, original sin. So, you kind of expect it. And then on the other hand, you have to forgive them.
Right.
Because Jesus forgave both of you for your sins. So you have to forgive the other person.
You know
so
what's weird?
It works out really good.
A lot of times I don't think about, I have to forgive him because Jesus forgave me.
Well, I think our relationship dynamics are probably very, very unique.
Oh.
So
I don't know what you mean. But
I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you
off cam.
There's going to be a bunch of psychoanalysis here from bunches of people who don't know us anyway. They're gonna,
Have fun. So what do you give it?
I think this is a classic song. I really like this song. The last couple songs we've listened to, Amber Skies, she could testify. I was listening to it for a very long time in the shower. I took an extra long shower because I had to listen to my Amber Skies.
I kept clicking back to that part.
That little middle part. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that middle part is fucking
Like,
classic.
oh, I can feel it. Just again.
This is a 10 for me. And I think
Whoa.
this is a historical 10.
Oh.
So there's different types of 10s. This is a historical 10 because I feel like there's the more we do this channel, the more I realize that there's a lot of like historically great music that we don't have a fucking, like Pink Floyd. I didn't know about Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know how great they were.
Yeah.
It turns out Pink Floyd is a really amazing band.
Yeah.
We're blurred again. Sorry guys. You know what's funny? Every time we have a technical problem, people always point it out in the comment section.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, there's no sound. You don't say.
Alright, I'm going with a 9.
This is
Point 3.
How's it? What could have given it a 10?
I don't know.
The musicianship was great. I liked the solo a lot, actually.
Yeah,
The solo was a pretty unique solo.
The words were good. I don't know. Maybe I just feel uncomfortable giving such an old song a 10.
What? Giving such an old song a 10?
Yeah,
What?
I don't know.
Okay. It's a historical 10.
All right.
No, you know what's gonna happen if you
What?
give it a 10 now. Then all the SJWs are gonna come riding in on their white horses, saying that I browbeat you with the patriarchy to give these
Oh my
people a 10.
word. You didn't browbeat
Don't
nothing.
fail the reaper.
I mean, I don't know. You've done that before, where you've given it a low score, and then I was like, yeah, but why?
Oh
You
yeah,
really thought
I
it.
know, but the SJWs
But nobody,
don't care
nobody
about
rides
that.
in for you.
Nobody rides in for Vinny.
Okay.
Actually, Ben wrote in for me once. He's like a white. It was the Teo Feo one.
Yeah.
With the what do you call it?
What do you say?
He said a white woman told a black man to shut up and nobody said it. I'm like, that's right, Ben. Keep it going. All right, what do you give it?
All right, I'll go with a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 10.
It's a historical 10.
Yeah, I
You
can
need
see
to
how
listen
it's a
to this
great song.
Don't fear the reaper. Been out.
Story out.
Gone.
You know, I've never heard of them, the Blue Oyster. Before.
Blue Oyster. I've never heard
What
of
a
it either.
weird name.
Blue Oyster cult.
What a weird
Well, the
name.
song pretty much went with like what I expected them to be like
Oh, really?
weird and shit, but like brilliant.
I don't think it was weird.
I thought it was weird. Don't fear the reaper.